Ronde is an amusement park located in Montreal, Canada. It actually sits on an island, so it's completely surrounded by water. Beautiful location, is the only Six Flags park in Canada, one of 2 Six Flags parks currently outside of the US. And guys, let me be perfectly frank, I think this is the worst theme park I have ever been to in my life. Typically, I'm the type of person who likes to see the best in everything. I look for the positive things when visiting a park. And there's a few good things about this park, like Goliath is pretty good. It's too bad that the ride ops that we experienced were pretty mean. They staple you so you don't get any airtime, but at least the ride looks good. And they have a Batman clone. It's a clone, but at least it's pretty decent. And well, they have this thing. This ride looks pretty cool. I didn't actually ride it, but at least it looks cool. And it's got a beautiful lake in the center. Unfortunately, the park is actually not a complete circle, so once you get to the back end of the park, you have to walk all your way around. So they have this awkward section where you could easily connect it, making the layout actually make sense. They didn't do that, but at least there's a lake in the middle. And actually, it is kind of cool how they have it surrounded by water. Like, it's pretty. It's too bad the rides aren't very good, but at least it's pretty. And like, okay, there's going to be some people who say, well, Taylor, you're just giving this park a hard time. It can't be that bad. Well, let me tell you about some of the experiences I had during my first ever and probably last visit to Ronde. First of all, I don't think I have ever waited a longer period of time to get into the park, and that includes visiting Disney parks. It took us between 15 to 20 minutes to go through the turnstiles because there was a line. You'd think that it was a line for a ride. No, it was the line to get into the park. They had it in disorganized switchbacks. It was kind of very chaotic. And we're also not counting how the parking lot is very weird. So you have to go and kind of park in this like odd location and then walk a distance. And then once you get up there, wait in this crazy line to get into the park. Like, how hard is it to scan your pass and go? Apparently, very hard. And while we're at it, I'm sorry if your local park is Ronde. Like, I really do feel bad for you. But this has got to be the worst public crowd that visits an amusement park that I've ever seen. The worst GP I have ever met in my life. The clientele and the people visiting Ronde were horrible. They have no manners, they were not obeying park rules at all, and they were just obnoxious as heck. We got line jumped at every single ride, and the park was doing nothing about it. There was no enforcement. And it doesn't help that you can barely hear the people next to you because the music is playing so loudly in the queues. So that gets obnoxious. So in the end, everyone's just kind of yelling over each other. But I know that ranting about the crowd, and obviously not everyone is going to be like that. However, when I was at Ronde, they were loud, they were annoying, and they were all under the age of 16. Look, I've never been one to hate on teenagers at parks because I understand that not all teenagers are like that, but it certainly felt that way at Ronde. There was no respect for personal space, they didn't care, and it doesn't help that you get this weird mix of people speaking French and English, so not only are they being obnoxious, but you can't tell them to please stop because they speak a different language than you. And at some points, it got weird. Like, okay, at one point, I went to go use the bathroom, and you have this guy in there, and his 2 kids, they were in a stall, but they weren't using the bathroom. The kids were just running around inside the stall, and I have no idea what they're doing there. And Ronde, in this particular bathroom, only has 1 stall. And so I'm here waiting to use the bathroom while this guy and his kids are running around in the stall, not using the bathroom. Like, what the heck are you doing there? I'm stuck waiting for like 15 minutes when I actually have to use the bathroom, and I couldn't ask for them to hurry because they're speaking French. So finally they leave. I use the bathroom and I come back and the kids are back in the bathroom and they are playing in the urinals. What the flip is wrong with people? Are you not teaching your kid proper manners? Like, and the dad was like totally cool with it. And it's not like the kids were toddlers. They were like totally in elementary school. I don't know what the heck is wrong with the people that go here. So again, I'm sorry if your home park is Ronde. I want to get out of the park as soon as possible because I couldn't stand being around the people here. And a lot of times that went for the employees. We weren't exactly treated like guests. So not only are we annoyed at the crowd, but we're hot, dying, sweating because there's no shade in the queue lines or even over the station. And it didn't help that there felt like there were more closed rides than open ones. Their monstrous wooden coaster, I'm pretty sure, didn't open all year. and there's no word on it from the park. So like, what's going on? You just gonna leave it there with a sign surrounded by your fancy advertisements saying that your ride is closed? Yeah, that might be a problem. And as a coaster enthusiast, wasn't too happy that we couldn't get on the kiddie coaster, so that was dumb. Oh, and they also have an Intamin stand-up coaster named Cobra that they just randomly closed, and so that was sitting there. Now, I've been told that that one is not going to reopen, but still, that's kind of dumb. And even what the park is getting next year, like, I don't even know if they're going to bother removing that ride. So it was like, okay, well, what is actually open? So we go to ride stuff, and all the really bad rides didn't have a wait, which was nice, but all the decent ones had these obnoxious lines. And a lot of the times the park is running one train. Oh, at one point on Goliath, the park had a decent sized line in this queue and they took off a train. So now they're only running one train, which slows down the line at about half. You're cutting your capacity in half when there's a decent sized line there. And they're like stopping to like clean off the seats. And I totally understand that you want to make it clean and stuff like that, but you should be doing that before the park opens. Look, here's my main gripe with this park. When you go to a park, there are certain things that oftentimes you don't think about, but are there that you don't have to worry about because the park has them instated, and so it makes your experience more enjoyable. At Ronde, you suddenly notice those things because they aren't there. You never learn to appreciate it until it's gone. And Ronde, there were just so many blatant issues with this park. Like, okay, for example, so you want to go and use your dining plan. Well, if you have the Six Flags dining plan, you're going to first have to go to this building to the right of your entrance and get these receipts so that your dining plan works. Because if you just try to use it at a food stand, it's not going to work. So that might be an issue you might want to fix. Next, you might want to change what counts as a meal or not. Okay, you know beaver tails? That pastry that you put like different toppings on it? Yeah, that counts as dinner. I'm pretty sure that is a dessert, or Six Flags has the snack options. I would even go as far as saying that that is a snack. I have had beaver tails. They are yummy, but that is not dinner. Another thing they count dinner. Poutine. This is a common dish in Quebec. It's basically French fries with different things kind of mixed in there, such as bacon or cheese, and it's good, but it's not a meal. That is French fries, but that counts as dinner or lunch. So you might want to fix that. And then it felt like, okay, we finally got to a food place that has some decent stuff that actually counts as meals. Well, they're not on the dining plan. So what can we eat? Well, you can eat these French fries or this pastry with some cream on it. Oh, and they have a McDonald's and a Subway. Those aren't on the dining plan, by the way. And so you're walking around the park, you're looking at all these ugly advertisements, you're trying to figure out what rides you can actually get on. And I was just at the point where I had gotten all the coaster credits and I said, okay, I can't stand here being any longer. Let's go. I was so over this park, and so was everyone else I was with. I think they've made some alright decisions in the past, like their Frisbee looked very cool. It unfortunately had the longest line in the park because their loading process was very slow, so we didn't get to ride it. They have some cool looking attractions. They have what I understood as a year-round haunt, however that wasn't open, so, okay. And the park just wasn't pleasant to look at. It felt like a Six Flags park. You have the advertisements everywhere. The landscaping is extremely minimal. So if I had to give you advice for going to Ronde, I think if you have the opportunity to go, then you should go, get the credits, and leave. If you have the option to visit a different park instead of Ronde, go to that other park. Ronde would have to get something really dang good for me to want to go there again. As far as I can think of, the only thing they could do that would actually make me want to visit again is if they RMC'd Monster and the layout looked really good. Even then, there's so many other parks I would rather visit. Parks that I actually know I'm going to have a good time at. A lot of people, when they think about the Six Flags parks, this one always ranks towards the bottom of the list. There's no doubt in my mind that this is the worst Six Flags park. It has potential. It really does. Its lineup of attractions isn't awful. There's definitely a lot of rides I would remove, like Super Menage, or however the heck you say it. That one was garbage. They have a Vekoma Boomerang. That was garbage. Their SLC was pretty bad, too. I would say almost worse than Flight Deck at Canada's Wonderland. So take that one out. That one sucked. They have a really weird Wild Mouse. That was kind of an odd experience. And they already removed their Intamin stand-up coaster. Like, the amount of good rides here is maybe like 2 or 3. And of those good rides, it's really only one roller coaster. Unless you're really a fan of Batman clones. That being said, Goliath is actually pretty good. I'm going to have a review of that later. Just try not to get stapled. So, to just wrap things up, should you visit Ronde? No. But if you really want the credits, yeah, okay, I understand. But this really is a one-time visit place. I feel really bad for people if this is their home park. So if anyone from Ronde is watching this video, please take these notes into consideration, because I think after you fix just a few things even, you could actually have a pretty decent park. This really is a place where the experience was poor, even though the park actually looks decent on paper. It really just proves that amusement parks are not all about the roller coasters, because if you just judge them by the roller coasters, then Ronde is actually not terrible. But once you factor in how the guests are feeling when they're at Ronde, what type of experience they're getting, that is where this park suffers. I really do hope this park changes in the future. I'd love to see it make like a 360-degree change, and now it's a great park where I know I'll have a good time at. But I highly doubt that that is going to happen. Six Flags has been treating the park like dirt, and I imagine they're going to continue to treat the park like dirt. And in return, the employees will probably turn around and treat the guests like dirt. And now we all just feel like dirt. But if you like dirt, you'll love this park. So that's my review of Ronde in Montreal, Canada. Did you like this park? Did you have a good experience? If you did, please let me know, because I am going to be really surprised if anyone actually liked their experience at Ronde. Post those comments below, and of course stay tuned for more park reviews coming soon to Coaster Studios.